Hi my lovelies, welcome back if you're one of my subscribers, and if you're new here, a very big warm welcome. I'm Linz and today I'm talking about your first day having chemotherapy going into oncology. Yep, it's a very scary for experience, your first day in oncology. You know, there's nothing exciting about it at all, and you are a bag of nerves to be expected. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how you're going to react to treatments, you've never had before. Well, I hope you haven't had them before. And there's lots of little bits and pieces that you're nearly afraid not to take in case you maybe miss something or things like that. Now, advice for this one is have a notepad handy, or your notes maybe on your phone or something along them lines. If you've been reading up about certain things maybe to bring with you to your appointments, now there's a lot of things on the internet, the big bad web, about blankets and about kind of comfort devices. Now, in my oncology unit, I wasn't allowed to bring anything like a blanket, even though I had bought one. But I was told, due to things like maybe cross-contamination, bringing in infection from outside and stuff, it was better not to have anything like that with us. Your oncology unit will provide you with things like pillows and blankets and stuff should you need them. Now, when you go in, you're going to see a lot of people in there that might not be feeling the best. Let's face it, like, chemo isn't an easy thing to go through, no matter what you're having chemo for, what type of chemo you're having. You're going to be anxious, and that's okay. The main thing is to go in positive. You can do this, you're going to get through it, and it's going to be okay. So, normal procedure would be, when you first go in, you're given a seat, you're given, your bloods are taken, blood pressure, maybe all them things, and they might ask you to do, stand on the scales for your weight and height, and just so they're double checking all their information they have already is still correct. You have to wait a little while, just while your bloods are at the lab, and this is just, again, checking there's no infection going on in your body, and all your bloods, are showing that you're kind of healthy enough to accept your first dose of chemotherapy. After this, then everything's going to come back fine. That's great. In between all this, make sure you're keeping up your fluids, right? Lots of water or a mineral or something along them lines. Then you're going to be connected to probably sort of like a drip type system. Now, I had the port put in my chest, so I had like a special little adapter that was put on, and everything was coming in. My bloods were taken from my port, my anything like to start off with, I had a bag of fluids that had like an anti-sickness medicine in them, and I think some of us maybe steroid or something along that lines to give me a bit of a pump through first. Next up was my first lot of chemotherapy, which was called oxaliplantin. Now, I'm probably just butchered the pronunciation of that, so I will put the spellings down below in the prescription. Well, it was a prescription in a way, but in the description box below, so you can maybe double check to see, is that the type of chemotherapy you're going to be receiving or you are having. So that drip then lasted normally around 3 to 4 hours roughly. After that, then I was disconnected, given a wee bit of a flush again with a liquid, and then after that I was given a little bottle of stuff with the tube coming up, which was called folfox. So it's kind of like a pump device. You get given a wee bag to carry it around your waist in and things like that. You're kept then for maybe half an hour or so, just to make sure the infusion is working the way it should be working. And then you're sent off on your merry way with a handful of anti-sickness tablets and another handful of steroids, and you go home with this pump on for 2 days. and then you go back in and you have it disconnected, and that is you done for 2 to 3 weeks depending on your treatment plan. So guys, that's kind of what I can explain about my first day. I could go into a lot of details about feelings and thoughts. I don't know if you want that much detail, so I'll maybe leave that one out for now. If you do have any questions, guys, make sure to pop a comment down below. Just a wee guide on maybe some things to bring in with you. An ebook, maybe, if you're that way inclined. Make sure it's fully downloaded, because you don't know what your server connection internet's going to be like in your oncology unit. I didn't have any internet, and I didn't have any phone network, which, you know, it was a bit hard. And, you know, the first time, until I worked out that I could download all this kind of good stuff before I left the house, which was great. A normal paperback book, bring that. Magazines, word searches, crosswords, whatever you think will help. There was actually a lady beside me, and every time she used to come in, she was on the same sort of days as I was in, and one day she'd maybe have her knitting with her, another day she'd have her crochet with her, and oh, some of the stuff she made was fabulous. And that kept her mind busy, and she, you know, she couldn't have somebody there with her when she was having her treatments done, because, you know, her family needed to work and things like that. Now, I was very lucky. I had my dad with me for, I think, all of my sessions of chemotherapy, and he was amazing. And he has a lot of health issues himself, bless him, so I will never be able to thank him for getting me through near 6 months of not good times. I don't know if I mentioned this already, maybe things like boiled sweets, just something, because your mouth can feel a little bit dry and a little bit just not pleasant. And by all means, if you want to bring yourself a wee snack bar, a wee packet of Tato crisps, depending on which part of the world you're watching me in. Now, I used to get a scone, like a cake thing, and a cup of tea, I think around 10:30ish, and then around 12:30 somebody would bring up things like sandwiches and soup and things like that for us. So that was all good. When you're there for a good while, so keep your strength up. I hope that's kind of answered a lot. I know there's probably a hell of a lot more that I could put in here, but I don't want to make this video too long. This is part 1. I have another 2 or 3 parts to come up, all related to chemotherapy, whether it's like, you know, your side effects from your treatments or how you're feeling. What else have I got wrote down here? Diet and things, you know, things that I found helpful, because when you're having chemotherapy, your stomach might not be too good and your bowels might not be too good. So there's a few little pointers there that helped me. They might not help everybody. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed already, subscribe up and stay tuned for my next video. Again, stay positive,